that mobile devices are increasingly prevalent and important in our lives. It's the computer that's with us all the time. And so the Google Plus team has spent a lot of time making sure that that core stream experience on mobile absolutely rocks. And the feedback has been fantastic. And so today, we're taking that multi-column design and bringing it to lots more devices. Yes, from your phone to your tablet and even your desktop, you're going to see a newly designed stream. We're also fixing a long-standing problem with today's social streams, and that's they're flat. It's very easy to see a long list of things that have been shared with you, kind of like a never-ending newspaper. But it's nearly impossible to go deeper on a topic or interest that you might have, and we think we can fix that. So this new stream is about design and depth. Maybe the best thing to do is just show you. What you're looking at is Google Plus at its this morning. What you're going to see start rolling out later today is the new Google Plus, which looks like this. You can see we've taken that multi-column design and brought it to the desktop and really made something beautiful. It's dynamic, meaning depending upon the size of your screen, it can either be 1 column, 2 column, or 3 columns. And we've made sure to give you choice. So if you go under the More menu, you're always able to go to a single column if that's what you prefer. Of course, in this multi-column design, we've made sure that posts like photos and videos can span multiple columns, so you get something that's truly immersive. And we've made sure that it's fast, fluid, and fun. And so we put delightful animations throughout the product. For example, a share box that animates out, menus that slide in and out to get out of the way, and even cards and that flip and fade beautifully. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But it's not just about the design, it's about depth. As I mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to go deeper on a topic or an interest you care about. We think we've solved this problem, and today we're introducing related hashtags. What we'll do is we'll analyze the content of a post, and Google will put on the appropriate hashtag. How does that work? Well, let's take a look. Here's a post about the San Francisco Giants baseball team. It's not just about the Giants, it's about Buster Posey, a particular player, as well. And note in the top, we've automatically tagged that post, and we know it's about those two topics. But that's only half the magic. We also then rank and search the entire universe of Google Plus content. And we rank it just for you. So when Matt clicks on one of those hashtags, watch what happens. We flip the card over, and we then show you related items from the most important sources and social proximity to you. Amazing, isn't it? Now, if you think that's impressive, let's take a look at another one of these posts. In this case, one of the noted photographers on our service has posted a picture of Paris, in particular the Eiffel Tower. Nowhere in his post or in the comments is the word Eiffel Tower. But if you notice, Google has automatically hashtagged this with the Eiffel Tower. How did we do that? Well, we did image analysis and combined with the knowledge graph that recognizes important landmarks, and Google knew that this was about the Eiffel Tower. So if you click, well, you can just go deeper and click through other posts about the Eiffel Tower. Now, of course, we deeply respect the content producer. And so you always have the option of telling Google, either on a particular post or globally, whether you want your content to have this amazing related hashtags feature. And if we ever get it wrong and have the wrong hashtag, you could always exit out. In either case, we think what we've built here is a stream that's about design and depth, really allowing you to go deeper on your interests. Now, we don't have time to show you all of the features. There's just too many to talk about today, but we'll be rolling this out this afternoon. We hope that you'll absolutely love it. Okay, now let's talk about Hangouts. You know, at Google, We have a point of view about software and technology, namely that it should get out of the way and allow people to do what they do best. That's live, learn, and love. That was true even when we started Google+. You know, other sites when we started often asked you to think of your relationships as either friends or not friends. And we argued that was not reflective of real life. In real life, you don't have this, you have this. And so we built circles as a core part of Google+. And we're happy to report that today, more than half of all sharing that's done on Google+ is done to private circles. Now, that same dynamic exists in the world of real-time communications. When you think about a real-time communication, somebody you want to talk with, you don't think about wanting to talk to a computer. You want to talk to a person. And yet, despite 50 years of work in real-time communication products, we still are stuck with gadgets that get in the way. Think for a moment about some of the real-time communications products, the choices that you have. Some are very nice. They work on one platform. So if you think about your friend, you have to ask yourself, are they on a particular operating system? Why should OSs matter? People matter. Or think about other choices that are very popular on mobile. Fantastic ways to communicate on mobile, but if your brother is at work on a desktop or a laptop, why should he be left out? Or there are other solutions that do group video very, very well and messaging, but it's very difficult to do photos. Frankly, even Google's own services have been fragmented and confused at times. What we want to do is fill in all the boxes. Because when we fill in all the boxes, we believe finally technology can just go away and people can focus on what makes them the happiest. And that's just hanging out. So we're introducing today a new application, Hangouts. And we think we've built a product that is about conversations that last with people that you love. Let me show you the product. Now, as Matt goes to the demo here, the first thing you'll notice on Matt's Android phone is the new icon, a standalone app. And Matt will go ahead and click on Hangouts and open up the application. Now, you're looking here at a list of conversations, not contacts. Some of those conversations are one-on-one. Some of those conversations are group conversations. But the primary pivot, the focus, is on those conversations. Now, if Matt wants to get to his contacts, maybe he wants to add someone, it's one tap away. You can see Google will rank the important people that he normally talks to and make that easily available for either a message or a video call. But let's go back to the conversations. There's several attributes about these conversations that I want to talk about. The first is my favorite. And that is these conversations can be long-lasting. So as Matt goes back in time, why you're able to see that conversation. Imagine that you have your family in a conversation for many months or a year. There's the holiday party, there's the vacation you took together, there's important moments like the birth of a child. All those things are stored with you, even as you change devices in those long-running conversations. Of course, we give you the ability to turn off history. Of course, we give you the ability to delete those things. But having the ability to save those conversations is, I think, delightful and amazing. Another aspect is that the conversations are rich and alive. Your photos are stored in albums. This is amazing. This baby's not even 3 months old, and he's already learned how to face palm. Okay? But all the images that you've shared as a family are all right there. In addition to beautiful images that are easily stored and saved, the conversation feels alive. Look at the bottom. You can there see, as people join, they show up. As they're typing, they animate out. You can see exactly where someone has read to. It really feels like you're in the same room together. And we think that's delightful. By the way, you're looking at it on the web, you're looking at it on Android, and you're looking at it on iOS, all available today. And by the way, two other points. One is a point that Hugo made. I think you're going to love how the notifications are all synced. So if you wipe a notification from the desktop or on Android, it'll go away on another device. It's beautiful. I think you'll like that. But my favorite feature Sorry about that. Let's go back to the demo. One other feature I didn't talk about that was pretty critical, which is at Google, we've always believed that the best way to do real-time communications is face to face to face. And so in that conversation, Matt can tap on the video icon, and everyone in that conversation will be dropped into a video chat. There you can see Matt. He's into the video chat, and everyone's being dropped in. Group video at no charge. Isn't that fantastic? OK, let's go back to the slides. OK, now let's switch topics. And finally, let's talk about photos. Photography can be a very rewarding experience. I know for me, it captures the most important moments of my life. I remember when I was on the beach and I asked my kids to stand together to take a picture. I didn't know my son was going to wrap his arms around my daughter. I didn't know my daughter was going to reach up and hold his hand. But for the rest of my life, I'm going to picture them like this. Despite the fact that he's now taller than me, that's how I imagine it. I'm not alone. You too have amazing images that are the most important, precious memories of your life. But if we're honest with each other, we'll also admit that photography is very labor-intensive. It takes a lot of time to organize, edit, enhance, upload, and share your photos. Time that many of us don't have. At Google, we think we can give you some of your time back. By combining your camera with our cloud, we can do some of those labor-intensive tasks automatically for you. In fact, today, we'd like to introduce the notion of Google's data centers being your new darkroom. Now, what does that mean? Well, when you think of the cloud, most of us think of backup. But today, we're going to go beyond backup. And we're going to talk about 3 exciting new areas that combine the data center, Google's cloud, with photography. But before I do that, let me just begin with what you already know, backup. Now, since we've launched Google+, we've always backed up your photos. Unlimited, all your photos at standard size. And a few months ago, we introduced the ability for you to choose an option where we would upload your photos, not at standard size, but at full resolution. And we offered 5 gigabytes free. This week, we announced that we're going from 5 gigabytes to 15 gigabytes free. Now, why does full resolution matter? Well, what you're looking at here is an 8-megapixel shot. An 8-megapixel shot, you know, you can clap if you want. Go ahead. I love it when you clap, and I haven't even made the point on the slide. It's great. But I think you get it. You know, 8 megapixels is pretty common. Some cell phones, like the Galaxy S4, go up to 13 megapixels. And when you have an important image, you don't want 619 pixels, or 1024, or 2048. You want all the pixels, because some memories are not meant to be downsized. And we give you that ability on Google+. Let's move on. Now let's talk about highlight. What you're looking at is 686 of my vacation photos from my trip to New Zealand. Now, there's some beautiful images in there, images I want to share, but I don't have time to pick them out because my vacation is over, okay? Now, I suspect you've been in the same boat. You know, it takes time to do all this stuff. Google can pick the best pictures for you. We can go from these 686 pictures to these. It's remarkably accurate. Now, go ahead, you can clap. Some of you must be saying, how did Google know those were the best? Let me tell you. We do lots of things to choose the best. Some of the things that we do is we look for images that are blurry, and they're not going to make the highlights. We look for images that are duplicates. I took 4 images of the same mountain. We'll pick one. We look for images that are not the greatest exposure, and they're unlikely to make your highlights. Or we even do amazing things, like we recognize the Eiffel Tower. We can recognize in your images if you're at an important landmark. In this case, this is a beautiful shot of Queenstown, and we boost that image so that it's more likely to make the highlights. We also analyze to see if there are people there. Are the people happy? Are they smiling? Might make the highlights. Our machine learning algorithms have also been trained by literally hundreds of human raters, so that the machine learning algorithms have now begun to account for aesthetics, for human taste. What do people find beautiful? And we're able to boost that image. And then my favorite is affinity. We recognize who's important to you, who's in your family circle, and we apply appropriate social boosts so that your wife and your children are in the highlights. It's absolutely amazing. We think you're going to love it, and it's going to save you time. This is a shot of what we're rolling out this evening. This is the actual product, the desktop version. You'll note that we'll give you your highlights, and right there at the bottom, you can always click and see all the other images as well. So it's right there for you. Now let's talk about enhancing your images. One of my favorite photographers famously said, "You don't take a photograph, you make it." And if you know a good photographer, a professional, you know that's true. Professionals can take a good image and make it amazing because they have access to tools like this. Powerful tools that require lots of skills, that run on expensive machines, that take lots of time, and you can do amazing things. The problem is that for the average person, these tools often look like this to them, like a bewildering set of knobs that they don't understand. Today, we're introducing Auto Enhance. Auto Enhance is an easy button to make your memories look beautiful. We can automatically take an image that looks like this and make it look like this. Now, how in the world do we do that? Well, we're going to show you some of the things that we do. Things like tonal distribution, skin softening, noise reduction, structure, vignetting, red eye reduction, so much that we do. And we don't have time in this keynote to show you all of them, but we're going to highlight a few. Let's begin with tonal distribution. All of us have taken pictures that are over or underexposed. You might think Google would find the middle ground. We do better than that. Remember, our algorithms take into account human taste. So we can take an image like this and just make it perfect. Let me show you another example. Let's talk about skin softening. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance because you're going to see a huge photo of me, but we thought we'd pick someone that no one could get offended over. So we'll start that with me. Okay, now let's talk about recognizing people's faces. If you have an inexpensive phone or even an inexpensive camera, those devices can recognize faces. But the state of the art today is to put a rectangle around a face and say, we think there's a face there. We've had several breakthroughs at Google where we're now able to deeply recognize the human face and skin. We can tease apart exactly where is the hairline. What are the eyes, the teeth? Is the person wearing jewelry? Do they have glasses on? And we can separate all that out. That breakthrough means that when we do the other effects, things like structure, the tonal enhancement, why we can do something different on the clouds, the water, the mountains, and we can treat the human face completely separately, like a professional would in a tool. Now, let's talk about one of those effects. Let's talk about skin softening. Now, how many of you like your passport or your driver's license photos? No one does. Well, why not? Because photographs often exaggerate our flaws. In real life, when you look at me or your friends, you don't see every one of their flaws. But in a picture, you see all of them. In fact, we're going to make it worse. Let's zoom in on this picture a little bit. Like I said, I used my own so I wouldn't offend anyone else. Wrinkles, right? But chances are when you're talking to me, you don't stare at them. Watch what happens when we apply skin softening. Just gently tone down. Let's zoom all the way out. That's the original image. That's with skin softening enhancements. Just gently and beautifully enhanced. We think you're going to love it when we apply this across your photographs. Let's talk about noise reduction. Maybe you've taken a picture in low light, particularly with a cell phone. You get grain, noise on your image. Look at the sky in this photograph. Well, our noise reduction filters can automatically take something that looks like this and make it look like that. Pretty amazing. Let's talk about structure. Here's a picture that I took when I was in New Zealand. I remember that image having more life. It was more vivid. Well, what happened? Well, the camera palette balanced everything out so it became flat. A professional would go with flat. A professional would go into a tool and they would add a lot more structure to the sky. We can do that automatically. And so we can take an image that looks like this and auto-enhance it to look like that. Okay? There's obviously lots more that we don't have time to talk about, but we are going to bring up a special tool, a debugging tool. And we're going to tease apart some of these effects and show you how they layer on to make an image awesome. So here's an image, untouched, out of the camera, and we're going to start layering on these enhancements. Let's begin with tonal enhancement. Okay? Let's add some skin softening. Before and after on the skin softening. Now let's add some structure for the clouds. Let's add a vignette to emphasize the human face. And let's go before and then auto-enhanced by Google. Pretty amazing, isn't it? One more example. A beautiful landscape photograph of Queenstown that I took. I think it's pretty great. Let's see what Google can do. Once again, tonal enhancement. Doesn't need any skin softening here. Structure, a little bit around the edges, darken the edges. Look at the original, and what Google did. Amazing. All you have to do is upload your images, and we will apply all of this for you on all of your photographs while still giving you control. This is an actual picture or an actual shot of the product itself that's rolling out this afternoon. If you mouse over any photograph that's yours, well, I will show you that enhanced icon. And when Matt clicks on that enhanced icon, we'll go back to the original, and if you let go, you'll see the enhancement. And if you want, you can click under the More menu, and you can always turn this on or off, either globally or on an individual photograph. So we think this is amazing, and it's going to save you lots of time. Let's continue on. We've talked about backup. We've talked about enhancing, highlighting your photos and enhancing your photos. Now let's talk about awesome. Auto Awesome creates a new image from one that did not exist. Let me give you an example. We have lots of these. Let me give you an example. We recognize that you've taken several pictures in burst mode or taken around the same time together. We will automatically gift to you in your album something that looks like this. Here's another example. Maybe you've taken lots of shots of children that are never looking at the same time. Go back to your album. You'll see a gift for you. You'll have another one of these Auto Awesome motions. By the way, over the past 2 weeks, in a dark launch state, we've gone through all the albums you've hosted on Google and gifted all of these to you. You'll see them turned on this afternoon. These are 5. We're introducing 5 Auto Awesome effects today. You saw a demonstration of motion. Let me briefly talk about the others. If we recognize that you have multiple portraits together of people, we will automatically create a collage. HDR is self-explanatory. We'll do that for you. If we see multiple pictures of the same people in burst mode where they're not all smiling, we will find where they're smiling and we will construct a new image with all of them smiling. It's amazing. And finally, a pano. So if you've taken an image, we recognize it's at the same spot. We'll stitch them together beautifully and put that in your album for free. Okay, so to summarize, today we've shown you a new, modern, multi-column stream. A stream that's about design and depth, so you can explore your interests on Google+. We've shown you a new Hangouts application, one that's about conversations that last with the people you love. And finally, we've shown you a new photos experience and shown you what can happen when Google is your darkroom. Taken collectively, we think we just put the Google into Google+. And we finally allowed technology to get out of the way and allow you to do what you do best. Live, learn, and yes, even love. Thank you. Now we'd like to talk about what was possibly your first Google love, search. Join me in welcoming Amit Singhal to the stage. Thank you.